It's been nearly 4 years since Apple released its ARM-based M1 silicon, and we might finally have a Windows on ARM equivalent that is competitive with Apple's M3. Qualcomm's Snapdragon X family of chipsets is set to shake up the largely x86-based architecture Intel introduced back when your grandpa still had hair. Now don't ring the gong for x86's demise just yet, but there's no doubt that there's going to be a monumental shift in the technology behind Windows-based PCs, and what better way to look at that than by examining the hardware produced by the guys that brought us Windows. Microsoft's latest line of Surface devices, the 11th Gen Surface Pro and Surface Laptop 7 with Copilot Plus, are both Windows on ARM machines that run an emulation layer to enable support for x86 programs. A quick note before we start, iFixit partners with Microsoft to sell parts in our store. That does not mean in any way that Microsoft has a say in our teardowns. We are doing this independently and we bought these devices ourselves. So on with the teardowns, starting with the Surface Laptop. I know Microsoft has made strides in repairability since we last looked at one of these, so I'm excited to see what we'll find inside. Here's an example. We no longer need to destroy the device to get in, mainly thanks to the 4 screws hidden underneath these rubber feet. And there's no fussing with clips. The bottom plate is held in place simply by magnets and lifts away easily. Reminds me a bit of the Framework 13. The first look at the insides is very promising. We have symbols denoting the components and screw types. There's the battery clearly marked, and 3IP means we need a 3IP Torx Plus driver. Microsoft calls these Wayfinder markings a pretty cool moniker. I'm curious to see what the little wrench symbol and QR code mean. Turns out it leads to Microsoft's website where repairability guides were made available from day one. That's pretty impressive, especially when other manufacturers, Apple, don't even announce when they intend to release manuals for a device. This is a level of repair friendliness that we've only ever seen in repair-minded companies like Framework and Fairphone, so it's really pleasant to see Microsoft adopt these same practices. Right away we can see that the battery symbol is telling us that there are 8 Torx screws to undo here. And with that, the only consumable component in this device is removed. This might not sound like a big deal, but here's how many components we had to remove to get to the Surface Laptop 3 battery. The lithium polymer battery in our 13.8-inch model is rated for 54.12 watt-hours, which promises to deliver longer runtime on the new and efficient Snapdragon X processor. The M2 storage is also easily accessible and seemingly upgradable. That's a simple no-fuss removal. I opted to go for the speakers next, though it's worth mentioning that most of the other components are accessible at this point. The Surflink cable runs across the fan, so I'll remove that next. The fan itself is not attached to the rest of the thermal management system, which means any repairs or cleaning here would be a cinch. 1 cable and 3 easily accessible Torx screws and it's out. There's not an awful lot left at this point, so I'm eyeing up the main board now. It looks like I need to remove the antenna bracket first. 12 tiny screws and the bracket comes away. Next up is the 3.5mm port. Awesome that it's still rocking the TRS action, by the way, and it's nice to see a modular port too. Not so for other ports, everything else seems to be soldered down. A few ribbon cables and a single screw and bracket are the only things I can see, but the port doesn't come away yet. A closer examination of the shield shows 3 more Torx screws sitting underneath here. Last but not least, we need to free the ribbon cables leading to the screen. Unfortunately, these are all sitting underneath these clip-on shields, which can be a bit of a pain to remove. Another probably unintended consequence of using these shields, the supporting brackets soldered to the board make for very tight quarters that could lead to damage to these press connectors during this assembly. The mainboard is out, which means it's time to take a look at ARM and Qualcomm's foray into Windows PCs. It's a smaller package than I expected to find, but note the SK Hynix LPDDR5X RAM modules sitting underneath the processor. No upgradable RAM here. LPCAM2 anyone? Also, no replaceable Wi-Fi modules. There were lots of repairability wins in that laptop, and I'm eager to see if those wins are also reflected in the Surface Pro. Just like recent Surface Pro models, the M.2 storage is accessible without this assembly. Removing the M.2 also cuts power to the board. That's as easy as it's gonna get, but now we have to deal with that screen. The adhesive isn't too bad to cut away, but it's not going to be a fun repair for the DIY enthusiast who just wants to replace a battery. Once inside, I need to remove one of those pesky shields to disconnect the screen's ribbon cable. It looks like the fan and one of the copper pipes are fused to each other, and after some rummaging around, I decide to remove the thermal assembly since another copper pipe runs over the battery. To do that though, I have to remove the Surflink cable that runs over the fan. On the plus side, we do have thermometer wayfinder symbols showing where the thermals are held in place. A whole lot of screws later and we finally have access to the press connector for the battery. I'm a bit baffled as to why this connector was hidden underneath the thermals, but we can get the battery free now, no glue or pull tabs to faff around with, it's only held down with screws. The battery comes in at 46.52 watt hours, and again, the increased efficiency of ARM's RISC architecture in the Snapdragon X gives us significant gains in runtime compared to previous Gen x86 devices. The speakers, surprisingly, are also glue-free and are only held down by 3 Torx screws. This sits in stark contrast to most other tablet speakers we've seen over the years. The camera module press connectors are again hidden under more of these pesky shields. Some of them come away easily, but others just cling on for dear life. The assembly itself comes out easily enough, with only the front-facing camera being glued down. The only other component on my way to the main board now is the button board. The main board sits at the bottom of this hardware stack and is the very last component to come out. As far as repairability goes, the big story about both of these devices is that Microsoft made service manuals available to the public on launch day. That's a huge win for repairability. The new Surface Laptop and Surface Pro are both impressively modular and accessible devices, with easy to remove batteries, removable and upgradable storage, helpful disassembly markups printed on the internals, and of course those official service guides. The Surface Laptop 7 more than earns its provisional 8 out of 10 on our laptop repairability scale, and the Surface Pro 11 also scored a provisional 8 out of 10 on our tablet repairability scale. Microsoft has one of the most interesting stories in product development that we've seen in recent years. The Surface Laptop line of devices started as some of the worst devices we've ever seen, but since then they've made huge strides in serviceability and modularity.